Chelsea 7, Norwich 0. Kay Murray and Janusz Michallik here with you. Lots to talk about in this game. One man in particular we must mention is Mason Mount. Janusz.
Yeah, he's been tremendous, right? I mean, just goes to show that even if you didn't like Frank Lampard, he got one thing right, and that was Mason Mount. And remember, a lot of criticism and perhaps, many even fans and pundits asking why is Lampard playing him so early on? Why is he trusting him? Incredible, right? I mean, you can easily say it's Norwich City, it's 7-0, but I think what he was doing in the first half, the man was absolutely everywhere. One man band in terms of pressing Norwich City into mistakes, combining with everybody. A couple runs he's made defensively deep into his own half, recovering the ball as well. So perhaps, it's a good thing that he had a hat trick and was easily the man of the match.
Yeah, what did you make of Callum Hudson-Odoi's performance today?
Well, you saw Thomas Tuchel before the game said, that this game is not going to change anything. He's going to have to play, I think he said like 250 games at a good level. I tell you what, that's a lot of games. But today he was good, obviously scoring. And I think, the problem with him is tactical, not so much in terms of his talent, his tactical awareness in terms of defense. I saw him actually yelling at Hudson-Odoi during the game. But then again, it's Thomas Tuchel, ever the perfectionist. I think he does that to just about everyone as well. So look, I mean, at the very least, he did not disappoint, but it was hard to disappoint in this game if you were a Chelsea player.
Yeah, where does the balance shift? Was it Chelsea were excellent, Norwich were awful? Is it more of Chelsea being great or more of Norwich being terrible?
Equal, I think. This was top against the very, 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 very bottom. It is unfortunate to say because I think we all sort of, like Daniel Farke, but I mean, I'm just wondering how this team won the championship last year. And, we know their story up and down, but this is really disappointing. Look, I mean, Todd Cantwell wasn't there. He's important. I think he played with under 23s on his way back last night. Billy Gilmour, of course, in terms of creativity and possession would have been good, but couldn't play against his parent club as well. So you can look towards those two players and say, you know what, they were always going to lose this game, right? I mean, if you look at the situation in Norwich City, not much has changed. Teams ahead of him, who's there? Newcastle, I think, and Burnley only a point above. Of course, they have a game to play. And then I think you have this, Saints and Leeds United, additional 5 points up. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not over. I don't think we all believe that Norwich City are going to save themselves. But if you look at the table, I think everybody expected them to lose to Chelsea. 1-0 or 7-0, does that make a massive difference? Yes and no. Kay, how that goes, right? I mean, it's going to be hard to pick the team up, but then that would be the first thing I'd say to them. Look, I mean, the teams above us are not that far away. You've got to believe.
Yeah, they still haven't got their first win of the season, and you do fear for them staying in the top plate for another season after a performance like that. So we didn't see Timo Werner and Romelu Lukaku, both of them injured and didn't make this game. But how much can we take from it, given the opposition today, of the team doing okay without them?
Well, they did okay without them last season, didn't they? They didn't have Lukaku. They won the Champions League. They didn't have Timo Werner. Sorry to say that, but not to what you expected of Timo Werner, right? In terms of scoring goals and what he was going to bring to the table when you spent so much money for him. So, jokingly here, because I respect Timo Werner and his work ethic. I mean, if he doesn't score, he works extremely hard. You may not like what he does, but I think as a teammate, I would appreciate him not putting his head down. So they've done it without him. Look, they have a pretty good, I'm looking Newcastle, Malmo, Burnley, and an international break. So they may be able to recover some of those players. And let's face it right now, I look at Chelsea, top of the table, the best defensive team together with Manchester City in the league and the best scoring team in the entire league, right? 23 goals, Liverpool on 22. You can tell me Norwich or not, but those are the stats. Those are the facts. So I wouldn't worry too much. I would worry, however, if, of course, Romelu Lukaku would be out for a long period of time. But we don't know that. And as I mentioned, the schedule, international break, Kay, I think they'll be able to recover one or two, or maybe both.
You just listed the stats yourself, Chelsea top. What does that tell you? Are they title contenders?
Okay, of course they are. They were before the season. They are right now, and I mean, they haven't really had a blip for the most part when you look at it. I mean, losing to Juventus in the Champions League, although they're sitting pretty in that after the game against Malmo, and they have Malmo again, so there'll be no problems there. So right now, look, Thomas Tuchel continues to prove that what happened last season wasn't any luck, right? I think we all understand how detail oriented he is, how organized this team is. And what I'd worry about the most is the fact that even when they don't play well, they still get through games. That's so important, right? We look at Manchester United from time to time, some of the big clubs around the world where when they are missing one or two or three players, it seems the end of the world, right? I mean, Chelsea are very much capable of winning 7-0 like they did today. And as we've seen before, they don't have to play well, but they still see themselves through 1-0 or even a draw where, it doesn't seem like, I never get the impression that they're out of games. And that to me is very important.
Yeah, I say it because obviously we know they're the defending Champions League holders, but there were still those who said, I don't know if they can win the Premier League though this year. Who's ahead of them for you?
Well, I think it's, as we've said, it's going to be Manchester City and Liverpool. But I mean, you look at the depth of the squad. I mean, you just mentioned too, Christian Pulisic still not available as well, right? I mean, you still have Ziyech coming over, off the bench. You have Loftus-Cheek who's playing very well. Let's not forget there was no N'Golo Kante in this one. I mean, you look at Jorginho today. I mean, certainly unbelievable. If you care to look, if you're a listener, if you care to look at the stats of Jorginho in the first half, they were unbelievable. He was first in just about everything, right? So Ballon d'Or between Lewandowski and Jorginho. Look, you know where I stand on this one. My bias will not allow me to give it to Jorginho. However, if he did get it, I don't think you could complain, right? This is how good he has been. And remember, he was a flap once when Maurizio Sarri came in. No, Jorginho is not good enough for the Premier League, right? He stayed through a couple managers and he continues to improve game in and game out. Again, wonderful. And I don't want to say that this was just Norwich City, right? You still have to know how to do it. You still have to know how to win the ball, possess, and spread the ball around. And, some passes today from him in particular were wonderful.
So I'll give a nod to Reece James. This is not to leave him out because we've talked about the other scorers, but Ben Chilwell's becoming a goal machine, isn't he, just to end today?
Well, you have to earn it under Tuchel, right? I mean, there's this enigma with Marcos Alonso, was starting and playing all the games in the beginning, and Ben Chilwell quietly sitting on that bench, which again, a lot of respect. I mean, quietly, of course, not showing in an outward way that he's displeased with that, right? We didn't see it in the press. I was just even looking at his body language because he had to be unhappy. He is a better player on both sides of the ball than Marcos Alonso, but he had to bide his time, didn't he? And finally he comes in, a couple of world-class goals, and today even, that strike was pretty good. So look, I mean, that's what happens. He has worked hard in training, I believe. Thomas Tuchel, his high standards finally gave Ben Chilwell a chance, and he took it from there. So I don't think he's coming out of that starting 11.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.